Yeah, it was muted for everyone. Again, good afternoon, everybody. As always, I am Dan Tartaglione, better known as D Tartag1 on everything. Today we got an exciting Jawa Cup match for you. We have RSersen versus Kevin Yop, our 4 and 5 seeds of the top 8. Ryan is the higher seed, so he will be deciding first. Interesting enough, Kevin is currently in a Gem PC match right now. Kind of little awkward. We're actually going to go check on that one really quick. He is playing light side. He's running a looks to be a legend versus a Senate deck. So checking in again really quick on this battle. We have a battle at Jakku. Oh, the game is bug out. Okay. So I thank you, Dorsch. I did not realize that it was a buggy little game. So again, this is going to be Kevin Yap versus Ryan Saracen. Ryan, part of Team Moneyball. He joined alongside with Jared Napolitano, Adam Fletcher, Ryan Jelson, Connor Britton. Funny enough, three of the four, and three of the top 8 are all Team Moneyball. Ryan Jelson beat Taco Bill recently in his match, and Adam Fletcher is currently 6-0 as the number 1 seed. Letting our 2 players know that we are ready to go. And we will have this game going live. So, oh, I got something new in my collection. Cool. So I'll check that out here in a little bit. Uh, Obviously, once we're done with the stream. So here we go. Ryan decided to go play Dark Side, so Kevin is playing Light Side. Ryan looks like he's playing Sit Your Course for Alderaan. Kevin is going with, it looks like a Legend deck. Don't see his objective, so let's just see if I can get back in and yep, there's his objective. Ryan is going with the effective demonstration, a million voices crying out, and quad drive yards. Kevin going with a brave resistance, and I believe, yep, he's going to play Walkling. There is the Be With Me, the new epic event for the Legend. And here we go. Game 1 between Ryan and Kevin. Okay, there's the aim high shield from Kevin. Ryan's grabbing out a few cards. He's got his Commence Primary Ignition already. Let's see if he will grab the Super Laser as well. He did grab the Super Laser, so he's got 2 pieces of the puzzle to blow up Alderaan. There's Ryan's grabber. Ryan takes out the Death Star War Room, so that gives him a 2-0 sight for some extra activation. And he's also going to use quad drive yards, get himself out of system. There's Coruscant. So this kind of looks like a similar build. Like this is a deck that I played recently in the Gem PC. I lost to a Legend build by 5. So hopefully Ryan has a little bit of luck, whereas I did not. He's going to move the Death Star from Parsec 0 to Parsec 1. There's Kevin's grabber. And Ryan will move into his draw phase, and he's going to draw a few cards. So the Death Star is at the first Parsec, the Parsec 1 right now. Still needs to get to Parsec 2, so it's going to be 2 more turns until Ryan is able to blow up Alderaan. Again, Kevin playing Legend. He starts Jakku. He has Brave Resistance on the field as well as Walkling. So, expecting to see him grab Rey with Rey and the Anakin's lightsaber at some point. Okay, Kevin's going to use the objective to, let's see, he is going to deploy a card from a location from his reserve deck here with the objective. Now, the objective has 2 functions that you can really do that are important. While it's on the 0 side, you can use 1 force to deploy an Acto or a battleground, Episode 7 battleground. The other thing is, once per game, you can take a card from your force pile into hand. So, players got to make sure that they do the right action on Gemp, because you might not get a revert if you take the wrong action. There's Luke Skywalker, the Last Jedi, going down to Acto. Kevin takes out the Force projection. He is going to put Rey all the Jedi back into his use pile to take a different Resistance character into hand. Let's see who he's going to grab here. He can grab anybody who is equal ability or less than, so that's pretty much all his Resistance agents. I can't think of any Resistant agent who is ability is 6 other than Rey all the Jedi. He is going to take Beaumont Kin. Beaumont is a good card. Sees a lot of play in OA and some other decks. No Idea is another deck, but the important thing is once Kevin has 10 or more cards in his lost pile at Beaumont's location, I'll get a drain +1 there. I know that game, that was important in my game earlier, about a week or so ago in the game PC. Here we go into Ryan's turn. Ryan is in his deploy phase. Again, the Death Star is at Parsec 1, so he will not be blowing up anything just yet. Maul hits the table, going down to the Death Star War Room. Again, Maul cannot go to any battleground, but he can move around. And then that would make it so that Kevin cannot cancel any destinies in any battle once he's on his 7th side. Tatooine goes down, and a Death Star Gunner. That's a card we haven't seen recently. If on the Death Star, cumulatively adds 2 to your total of Commence Primary Ignition. Once during your control phase, you can send the Gunner to search your deck, take a Super Laser. So, adding 2 to Commence Primary Ignition, not a bad idea. So we have Tatooine on the table. It is a Parsec 7, so it's quite a distance from the Death Star. It is the virtual one, interesting. And we go on into Kevin's next turn. So Ryan did draw all the cards from his force pile this past turn, so he was clearly looking for something. Kevin using his objective again to deploy a location from his reserve deck. Again, it could be an Acto site, or it could be another Episode 7 battleground. There is the Starship Graveyard. Let me move my mic a little bit closer. Yeah, there's the Starship Graveyard going down to Jakku. It is a 2/2 site, so... And Laura Santeca comes down, so Kevin is starting to get to ground, start doing some damage on his next turn. Laura Santeca will allow Kevin to draw the top card of his reserve deck and put it into hand. Very useful character. Again, we know that Belmont Kin is in his hand. So he is going to put Ray back as well. So he's going to grab another resistance character. Is that any better for everybody? I don't know if it's me or if it's just my microphone placement. I just turned up all the volume as high, well, not high, but it is hanging on my wall. I hung it up like 2 weeks ago, right before the Cleveland game, and yeah, good stuff happens. Okay, Leia hits the table as well as Lieutenant Connix. Lieutenant Connix taking Leia's resistant transport into hand. Ryan will stack the Imperial detention, and then yep, once per game, may use one force to deploy in to take into hand evacuation control, a resistance bomber, or a resistance transport. So she doesn't see a lot of play, but I actually kind of like her pulling out the transport. Okay, Rose hits the table as well, and the village. Yeah, I'll have to just start bringing my microphone a little over from now on. And that will end Kevin's turn. So he's got a nice little squad down there at Jakku. I believe, is Lieutenant Connix a leader? Nope, she's just a female. So 3 ladies and a Lor San Tekka on Jakku. Okay, here we go into Ryan's next turn. Again, the Death Star, I believe, is orbiting Alderaan. It is. Or no, that's Coruscant. My bad. Yep, it is ordering Alderaan. So he could blow up Alderaan this turn. And if he does blow up Alderaan, Kevin's going to have to lose 3 force. He decides not to go ahead and blow up Alderaan this turn. Interesting. Instead, he's going to deploy Lord Sidious to the Death Star Docking Bay 327. I would assume that he would have blew up Alderaan this turn. You would have caused 3 points of damage. You would have flipped. You would have done a lot of good stuff, but he could be waiting for something. Okay, this is one thing he could have been waiting for. He pulls the Death Star reactor terminal from his reserve deck. Once he hits the 7 side, he cannot utilize that pulling mechanic from the 0 side of his objective. So clearly he wanted to get the reactor terminal on the table. But more importantly, now it's going to be interesting because, one, Kevin's going to be able to retrieve next turn, and he's going to be able to drain for 2. It could be 3. I mean, he could be utilizing the I think I can handle myself interrupt to add one to the drain. But we shall see. And the Thunder Flare goes out to the Death Star. Again, because he didn't flip and blow up Alderaan, first of all, the Death Star is not a battleground. Second of all, once he flips, the deploy cost of his Star Destroyers becomes 2 less. So I'm a little curious as to see why he went with deploying the Thunder Flare there, especially knowing that he's going to be taking at least 2 points of damage here with a Force Drain. Okay, he plays a Bright Center to the Universe on the Death Star, targeting Jakku. So this card is a good card. Not only, again, it's a card that I wish I would have seen in my match recently. Deploy in the Death Star system or Coruscant system. Target another system. At locations related to the target system, opponent's force drain modifiers are canceled. Effect canceled if opponent controls the system. So once, like, say, Rey with the Anakin's lightsaber comes down, you don't get that bonus to the +1. Is it a +3? Once he flips next turn, he will be able immediately to drain. That's why. I think it's a drain for. I want to say it's a drain of one here and then one here. So yeah, it'd be. Yeah, I realize that. Yeah, I know it becomes a battleground. It's +2. Oh, it's +2 because of the flip side. That's right. Yeah, you guys are right. And I don't see Kevin coming down with the Tantive to the Death Star this turn because of the super laser being there. I mean, he could just shoot down the Tantive. The Thunder Flare is immune to attrition less than 5 with the deflector shield generators on there. Kevin taking a card from his force pile with his objective. He will pay 1 to retrieve 1. He retrieves the Destiny of a Jedi. Let's see if he pays a 3 here to drain. And he will pay to drain. There goes an Imperial Decree off of Ryan's hand and the Blockade Flagship Bridge from his reserve deck. I think he was okay with losing both those cards. And now we're into Kevin's deploy phase. So let's see what Kevin's going to do about this. Again, he could set up on Jakku. He could set up elsewhere. He could say he wants to set up in space, go like to Tatooine or something else. We'll see what he wants to do. Okay, he did look for a force projection, but again, he took that into his hand a couple turns ago. So he did miss the pool, and Ryan did get a free verify. Yeah, that's a good point, Bill. Bill pointing out in the chat, it will be interesting to see if Kevin has a third battleground site for Ultimatum. Yeah, it's going to be a little tricky here for Kevin because he's got to be careful about Ryan's space package. And I don't think Ryan is playing much ground. So, okay, there is Leia's resistance transport. Kevin's going to use 2 force because the Imperial detention is on the table. So he will be getting a female resistance character for free, but now he has to pay 2 because of the Imperial detention. He is going to get Rey, all the Jedi, on the table. And he's going to put Rey, all the Jedi, from his hand to take Poe Dameron into his hand. Poe's going to pilot the transport, and Laura Santeca will take the top card of Kevin's reserve deck into hand. And Kevin's going to get Anakin's lightsaber and put it onto Rey. So he could theoretically go to he could simply just move Shuttle Rey down to Jakku and then pull Ultimatum there. That's one way he could do that. He deploys Admiral Killian, one of the new VSET 17 cards. Deploys for 3. Plus with Boba Fett, total power is +2 there. While he is piloting a capital, he adds +2. It's immune to attrition less than 4. And then once per game, if about to be lost, may relocate any of your characters aboard to an exterior site. Okay, so there is Rey going down to Jakku. He pulls the Ultimatum shield, so now that would be only a drain of 2. So Kevin does know what's going on a little bit better than I am. And he will pass turn. Again, the transport is a capital starship. It just moves and deploys like a starfighter. Okay, here we go into Ryan's control phase. He's going to attempt to blow up Alderaan. The super laser is primed. He draws a 6. That should do it. He's getting +5 for the helper effect, +2 because of the gunner, and he drew a 6, so he's got a total of 15. Alderaan is going to be exploded. Kevin has to lose 3/4. There goes. You've got a lot of guts coming here. Ray all the Jedi, and it could be worse off the top of his reserve deck. The commenced primary ignition goes to the lost pile, and Alderaan goes explodey. Kevin will use Walkling, and he will put it out of play to retrieve the top card of his lost pile. He retrieved that it could be worse, but now here we go with the drains. Drain of 1 at the docking bay. Finn goes to the lost pile off of Kevin's reserve deck. Perimeter scan also goes lost. And Harksef V. Ryan will use A Million Voices Crying Out to take the commenced primary ignition from his lost pile and put it into his hand. I think that's why he played the gunner, just for EBO. EBO would subtract, I believe it's what, like 5 from it. Like once they have all their locations out. Like I've tested the game. It's a really hard match. It's not fun for the set your course player. Okay, Ryan utilizing the Death Star reactor terminal. He's going to peek at the top card of his force pile and take it into hand. And there is the Stalker. Stalker is deployed down to the Death Star. That will allow Ryan to retrieve some cards. He's going to retrieve that Decree, the Blockade Flagship Bridge, and Prepare Defenses. Ryan has no lost pile at this point. There's another grabber for Ryan. And again, because we have a bright center to the universe on the Death Star and targeting to Jakku, any modifiers to force drains are canceled at Jakku. So Kevin, while occupying 3 battlegrounds over there, he'll only be draining for 4 next turn. Stalker's going to move over to Coruscant. And that will end Ryan's turn. So the Death Star is still orbiting the debris of Alderaan. The Stalker is now orbiting Coruscant, and the Thunder Flare is orbiting the Death Star. So here we go, on to Kevin's next turn. Again, Kevin is also retrieving. And here we go, some of his drains. Drains for 1 at Jakku. Ryan's going to lose Commence Primary Ignition from his hand. Again, he took it out of his lost pile with A Million Voices Crying Out last turn, so it's a good way to throw away a card for free. There's a drain of 1 at the village. Ryan loses Naboo V from his hand. I like how all of his site or systems, with the exception of Coruscant, are all virtual. And he's going to... Ooh, he lost an interesting card. So he loses We Must Accelerate Our Plans off the top. But what's more interesting is he loses a droid detector. So that's a good card against BB-8 and R2-D2 and stuff like that. But what's interesting is because Kevin is playing all exterior Jakku sites, it's not going to come into play. If he was playing like Moss's Castle, then it would come into play. Kevin also retrieves with Ray, putting Perimeter Scan out of play to make Kevin retrieve the You Got a Lot of Guts coming here. So at this point, Kevin is going to want to flip his objective. He wants to get in that extra ping from the 7 side of his objective. Outside of that, the cancel and redraw with his objective really won't come into play because Maul is on the table. So But the big thing is he would get that extra point of damage at the Starship Graveyard. So, see what Kevin is going to do. He is in his deploy phase. And RSersen goes down to the docking bay in front of Lord Sidious. Solo joins the fun. I believe this move is just to simply get Kevin flipped at this point. He needs to get on the 7th side of his objective so he can start doing some damage, some extra damage. So Hera and Solo will get down. He's going to put Beaumont Kit back into his use pile to take a card out of his reserve deck. He's going to take Chewie with Bowcaster, and then he goes into his battle phase. Battling here wouldn't be smart because Lord Sidious would simply be able to exclude a character. He'd probably exclude Solo. And he goes into his move phase. He's going to use Odin Nestler and First Aid to transport Rey all the Jedi from Jakku over to the Death Star docking bay. He drew a 3 for Destiny and will pay for it. Let's see if there's an action from Ryan here. He will grab the Odin Nestler combo. And Rey flies all the way from Jakku over to the Death Star docking bay. And he looks like, yep, he is going to move some guys around. RSersen moves into the war room, staring down Maul and the Death Star Gunner. And now he will move into his draw phase and draw a few cards. Both players sitting at 8 cards in their hand. Currently, Kevin has a life force count of 26. Ryan has 27 in his life force. And here we go into Ryan's control phase. He's going to do some damage. There's a drain for 3 at the Death Star. Again, it's going to be capped at 2 because Ultimatum is on the table. It could be worse. Goes to the lost pile for Kevin, as well as relatively unprotected. Drain of 3 at Coruscant. Again, it's going to be capped at 2. There goes the Tantive and a controlled tunnel vision, both off the top of the reserve deck for Kevin. The Death Star Gunner will run away to the use pile to search out a super laser. That is very interesting. No super laser to be found as it's on the table, but that's an easy way to get the gunner off the table. Ryan puts a deflector shield generator onto the Stalker. He now moves. He is in his deploy phase, so he will utilize the Death Star reactor terminal to peek at the top 2 cards of his force pile and take 1 into hand. The binder goes down. That will allow Ryan to retrieve 3. So he'll retrieve the We Must Accelerate Our Plans, the Droid Detector, and Naboo V. Again, the binder comes down for, I want to say, came down for 4 force, as it is not a Victory class Star Destroyer or an Imperial class Star Destroyer. It is an Interdictor class Star Destroyer. And here we go. We have a battle at the Death Star docking bay. Kevin will flip his objective. No weapons in the battle for Ryan. Again, Kevin will not be able to cause any cancels and redraws here. Ray got to swing the lightsaber at Sidious. Draws a 1 for the first Destiny. But there's the Jedi Levitation, so he's going to cancel that. Take General Leia Organa into his hand, putting that Jedi Levitation back into the use pile. Draws BB-8 for Destiny. BB-8 causes, it's believe it's like 2 point something, 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 or, and then it becomes pi, so, or 3 something, so it's like 6. Yeah, 6.2831. You do have your moments. Again, her weapon destinies are +1 because of Be With Me, so that's going to hit Lord Sidious. And I think I can handle myself, so Rake becomes immune. Kevin does get a Destiny to power as well. He draws 5 for the Destiny to power. That brings him up to 12. Ryan's Destiny is 5. And because of Maul, he would have been able to get rid of Rey. But again, Rey is immune to attrition. I think he was trying to get rid of Rey because there's one already in the lost pile. There's Force Projection. And he draws a 3 for that. Yeah, Handle would have kept Rey around, and the other thing is Force Projection when it's in his hand. So I think Rey would have been able to stick on the table regardless of what would have happened. Rey draws a 3 for Destiny. It becomes a 4. So Ryan initiated the battle and is down by 7 in total. So he's going to be taking 7 in overflow here. He does have the Gek, though. Kevin's going to grab the Gek. And now we move into Ryan's move phase. So I think he is going to be moving some of those Star Destroyers around. The big question is what's going to happen with Maul here? And the Thunderflyer will fly over in front of the laser resistance transport. Now, that will save him a drain of 1 there, but because Rey All the Jedi is at the docking bay, she's going to be able to drain for 2 there. So Ryan is going to be taking drains of 2 and 2, plus the ping damage of 1 from Kevin's objective. And we have a Voyeur from Ryan. Again, because Kevin grabbed the Gek, he's not going to be able to grab the Voyeur. Let's see. He's going to use it used. So he reveals the use pile. Targeting, I think I can handle myself. And he will send it used. So Kevin will not use I think I can lose. I think I can handle myself. But he will lose Vice Admiral Holdo. The other character on the transport is Admiral Killian. So he makes it so you get +2 in the battle as long as Boba Fett's not there. And he adds 2 to anything he pilots. So you're essentially getting 4 for this guy. That's insane. Ryan's going to use Death Squadron assignments to take a card into hand. He's going to take the Vengeance. Here we go. Drain at the Death Star. 4-2. Let's see what Ryan will lose. He's going to lose the Death Squadron assignments that he used in the activate phase. And he's going to lose a Devastator V from his hand. Devastator, pretty cool ship. Lor San Tekka is going to have Leia run away. So now he can get an extra drain in from Jakku. There's a drain of 2. Again, it's going to cause a ping of 1, so you lose the drain first, and then you take the ping damage. He loses We Must Accelerator Planes and Coarse, Rough, and Irritating as well, both from his reserve deck. Put all section from alert. The Destiny 6 card that he used to blow up Alderaan goes lost. Drain of 1 at the village, and he's going to lose the Voyeur off the top. Now, I like to put all sections on alert, but again, it doesn't really come into play because we don't have a lot of rebels in this deck, so all I've seen are resistance characters, and we've got 1 Republic and 1 Rebel, so I figure Lightside likes to have a lot of R's in their names. Rebels, Resistance, Republic, a lot of R's. So we had Roe try and retrieve. He did retrieve Admiral Holdo, but then Ryan had the imbalance combo, so Kevin just lost the Holdo again, and he uses Rey. He's going to place relatively unprotected into the out of play zone, and he will retrieve the force projection. Chewie with Bowcaster goes down in front of Maul. Chewie adds a Destiny with Solo and has a weapon, so he could get rid of Maul this turn. Leia will retrieve 1 in response to the battle. He'll retrieve Holdo again for the second time this turn. Chewie aims at Maul. Draws a 5 for Destiny. He needs a 2 or higher, and he draws a 4. So yes, Maul is going to be hit and forfeit 0. The Gick is on Kevin's grabber. Maul is shot in the face. Kevin draws a 2 for his first battle Destiny. And he draws BB-8. So his battle Destiny is going to be quite large. Ryan will subtract 1 from the Destiny, however. So his total Destiny is 6.2 something something something. Maul draws a 5, but again, Ryan is going to be down by 20 or by almost 11. Well, let's just say 11 cards. So I doubt he has a second Gick. So there is going to be some battle damage. He lost the droid detector, Maul, imbalance combo, a tyrant, adjudicator, TIE Sentry ships, We Must Accelerator plans, Count Dooku, Accuser, another We Must Accelerator plans, and Tarkin's orders, and the bridge, the blockade flagship bridge. Oh, that's gotta hurt. So Kevin goes into his move phase, attempts to move the transport. Ryan plays Gravity Shadow from his hand, and he draws a 1. With Admiral Killian there and having ability of 3, that does not affect the transport, so the transport gets to run away. Now we move into Ryan's turn. We go into his control phase. He activates everything. He has 13 force to work with this turn. He will drain for 2 at the Death Star. But Kevin has a control tunnel vision. He has it in his launch pile and uses Solo to place it out of play, canceling that drain. Ryan wants to take a card into hand with the Death Star reactor terminal. He's only got 9 force to work with this turn. There he plays Dark Waters. That's going to cap that drain. That's going to reduce the drain at the village by 1. He also plays Image of the Dark Lord at the Starship Village. So both those drains are reduced by 1. What's important is it's already a drain of 2 at the Starship Graveyard, and he's still going to be able to get the ping damage from the objective. So it's still going to be working. The Vengeance hits the table, allowing Ryan to pay 3 and retrieve 3. He retrieves Gravity Shadow, the Bridge, and Tarkin's Orders. Still, he has 18 cards in his Lost Pile after that beating that Maul just took. And that will end Ryan's turn. Ryan with 14 cards left in his life force. Kevin with a few more has 23. But we're now at Kevin's turn, and he's going to be doing a lot of damage this turn. Into his control phase. Here we go. Drain of 2 at the docking bay. There goes a lateral damage and overwhelmed. Both of those cards would have helped Ryan a little bit. Drain of 2 at the war room. 2 more cards going lost here. Tarkin's Orders and the Bridge. There's the ping damage. Gravity Shadow hits the Lost Pile. Drain of 1 at the Starship Graveyard. Deflector Shield Generator go lost. And a drain of 2 at Tatooine. Prepared Defenses and Imperial Decree, both going lost. Kevin deciding he wants to retrieve some. Rose will retrieve. He retrieves Captain Hera Syndulla. Rey is next to retrieve. Ryan placing It Could Be Worse out of play. And Kevin will retrieve the Tan of 4. Again, we're still in Kevin's turn. He's going to use the Legend Shuffle. So he puts both the Force Pile card and the Reserve Deck card back onto his Reserve Deck. Notice that he puts the Force Pile card down first. So he knows what he's going to get with either the Destiny that he draws or whatever. But nope, Kevin's just going to pass turn over to Ryan. Ryan, 8 cards left in Life Force. Using the Death Star reactor terminal, he looks at the top 2 cards and takes one off of his Force Pile. 7 cards left in his Life Force. I believe that is more than lethal right now in favor of Kevin. Ryan is going to draw up. So I'm assuming that he is drawing up here as he's drawing cards. Kevin's going to put some cards back in response. Quite a Mercenary V cancels Chewie's game text and goes to the use pile, upping Kevin's life total. And Kevin, again, Ryan is drawing up, and Kevin will win game 1 by 26. Wow. Like, that's impressive from Kevin. He played that insanely well. He did exactly what he needed to. He grabbed the gick when he needed to. You got to feel for Ryan. So again, Kevin wins game 1 by 26. They will not be playing game 2 here tonight, so make sure you stay tuned. And whenever they're up, looks like tomorrow they're going to play game 2. So, I mean, it's kind of a rough spot for Ryan at this point. But I think if anybody's going to be able to bring it back, maybe Ryan will. So make sure you tune in tomorrow night for game 2. Oh, tomorrow is no good. Nope. Ryan will concede to Kevin. We have a concession. Kevin Yop advances from the top 8, and he will be playing the winner of... Actually, let's just check these really quick. So for those interested in following the top 8, again, Adam Fletcher is our number 1 seed. He'll be playing Jeffrey Levine. So I believe that Kevin will face the winner of Adam Fletcher and Jeffrey Levine. So make sure you stay tuned to that. Ryan Jelson did advance already over Bill Kafer. He'll be playing the winner of Jason Rendu and Kevin Cohen. So let's see what happens. Again, Team Moneyball, they have 2 players left after RSersen goes down. So will it be Team Moneyball or will it be somebody else? We still have 2 Europeans in this event, so they still have a chance. Or will it be Jeffrey Levine or Apollyon? Again, stay tuned to the PC for more Jawa Cup action. Make sure you stay tuned for Outrider Cup action. Again, Timo Dussel took the first game of the Outrider Cup, beating Hayes Hunter. Hayes was playing Let the Wookiee Win Kashyyyk, and Timo was playing TTO, a deck I was not expecting in the Outrider Cup. Again, tune in on Wednesday for an all-new episode of Holo Theater. We'll go over some of the stuff that happened over the weekend, and we'll have a lot more exciting stuff for you to come. So stay tuned to the PC, and I'll see you guys later. Have a good weekend, or the rest of the weekend, and have a good week.